Hey everybody, welcome back to Swanky Slab. As I promised, we're going to try and get some videos out every few days right now as we are currently building out this shop space in my 2-car/3-car garage. Again, it's a 3-car garage, but we're only going to be using 2 cars worth of the garage for this new shop space. So with that being said, as you can see behind me is a miter saw table that I am currently working on. We will put out a video about that relatively shortly as soon as it is completed. And when we're putting in this workspace, there's a huge blank wall behind us here that I said, you know what, we're definitely going to want to put some cabinets on it, some tool storage, maybe, maybe some boxes for sustainers. Definitely there's going to be room to put drawers and such under the workbench, but what am I going to do with all this hardwood that I have that I need to get up and off the floor? Currently I have a bunch of 16-foot white oak pieces that need to come off this floor. It's not on the floor directly for those of you who are like, how could you possibly put it on the floor? It is, they're on stickers and it is drying and acclimatizing to the humidity. It is not directly on the floor, but we definitely want to get it up off so it can dry even better and be in a much, we don't want to trip over it, walk over it, or do anything like that. So today we are going to install some lumber rack purchases that I made from Amazon. This was not an expensive purchase. This was not an expensive purchase. This was meant for, these are meant directly for storing and supporting our wood. So we're going to mount these up along this wall, still leaving us room to put in some cabinets, some upper style cabinets, with maybe even some tool storage below that. So stay tuned as we install these lumber racks. So the way these come, they're actually made quite nicely. They are powder coated. They're supposed to store 300, 400, 500 pounds per rack. I don't know how true that is. Especially since they sent it with a bunch of drywall anchors. We will not be using drywall anchors. We will search and find the studs, and we are going to place these every either 2 to 3 studs, 3 to 4 studs is we're going to place these so that we get a nice long span to help support our wood that way. So they will go together. We'll get them pre-assembled and then we will get them mounted into place. They will go something like this when they are done, and they will stick out, and this is what will support our lumber on. There's actually some holes right here that we can also drop some pins through to give us a little bit of a stop block on this side so that stuff doesn't come off the edge. It will be mounted in multiple places along the stud, so it should give it plenty of pull-out strength, and I'm excited to get started on this. Shouldn't take us too long. This is a quick, easy job that you can do in your shop that will help you get some more organization, especially when it comes to hardwood storage. So stay tuned and let's get working. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to take these posts that are going to attach directly to the wall, and we're going to identify the directions that they should go, which is pretty simple because they have caps on one side and they're open on the other side. So we quickly line them up so that we can see that they're all in good pairs, and then we're going to take our hardware kit that comes with this package and open it up and add these little blocks that go in between each of the posts. And once we find all 4 of the blocks, it's as simple as putting them in and squeezing them together. And so we're going to squeeze all 4 of them together. It's, pretty self-explanatory. And then we're going to align them in the way that they go up on the wall. So we just add one more here, and one more there, and we will be all set. So now we're just going to quickly flip them over and line them up to the way they're going to actually attach to the wall, with the mounting side up and the shelf side to the sides. So we're now going to use our stud finder. This is just a magnetic stud finder that finds the nails behind the drywall, and we're going to mark where our studs are. And then using a level, we're going to basically mark out where the stud should be if it is level and going perpendicular to the floor. And then where we want the bottom of our rails to be, we're also going to mark. And we chose this spot based off of the fact that we wanted about a 20-inch gap between the top of the miter bench, and then wanted to be able to put in an upper cabinet below the lumber rack. So that's where I'm checking right now with the tape measure, and then we can install. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're definitely going to hit the stud. So we're just going to run one screw through this in order to hit the stud and kind of lock this into position. So we set it up, and I know you've got a great shot of my back and can't see any of this wonderful action that we got going on, but I did just screw it against the wall, and now we're just checking and making sure that it's still perpendicular or level vertically. And so we give it a little tap, tap, tap and make sure that it is right. And now we're going to move across the room and adding the extra ones. Again, only putting one screw in, and that's basically just to hold them into position for now. We're going to come back and we're going to fix that later. So, just be a little patient and we'll get there. But screwing it in, at least you can see a little bit more of the action as I'm standing on that table. And by the way, that table must be nice and sturdy if I can stand on it, and with all 250 pounds of my body. And so, ow, I just hit myself in the head. That was not fun, but we got to keep working. And so we're going to go ahead and lock this fourth one into place. And then we will move forward to some lag bolts. Now we got some lag bolts. I went with 2-inch or 2.5-inch, I can't remember which, and a washer on the outside. So I just dumped the washers out on the table. We're going to get these set up, and we're going to use all the rest of the holes. We're going to pre-drill with a 1/4-inch drill bit, and then we're going to use all of the rest of these holes and fill them up with lag bolts that are screwed directly into the stud. This should give us the strongest, best pull-out situation, because it would take a ton of force in order for these to pull out of the studs when we run 2 inches of coarse threads right into those studs. So here we go. Not really sure. Oh, I needed to remove that out of the way first so that we could get to the holes where we're going to put the studs. And watching my head so I don't hit it again, we are now going to go ahead and start. Well, we're going to make sure that we're still perfectly level and give it a little tap tap just in case we're not. And then we're going to drill our pilot holes. Once we drill our pilot holes, then we can drill in our final pieces. Now we're going to take our 1/4-inch lag bolts and just run those right through those pre-drilled holes. And we're going to do 1, and then 2, and then we'll put the 3rd one in, and everything will be tight. And then moving right along as we cross the bench, and I'll just be honest with you, it was much easier to stand on that miter saw bench than it was to stand on the ladders and try and reach over that. That bench sticks out about 30 inches, so we would have to reach over quite a ways. But again, just using the level, using our pre-drilled holes, and then using the lag bolts that we purchased from our local home center, we're able to make sure that these stay perfectly square, perfectly in line, and then tight as they can be as we lag them in to the studs. And again, we'll do this for the third and then the fourth one, which I'm pretty sure you can't even see me on camera. So here we go. Just 1, 2, 3, and we will be done with this. And now we jump ahead a little bit here. As you can see, I've already put some of the lumber supports that are going to stick out from those posts already on, and that was just kind of test fitting. So once I started filming again, we basically just ran each one through. There's 2 bolts per, and then they have a really nice cap nut that goes on the other side. So I lined them up and got them all started, and then we come back afterwards and we tighten them up with a wrench. I'm pretty sure we've done this a bunch of times, so it's pretty simple. Now we're just tightening it. It does have an Allen wrench on the left hand side, and then I put the cap nuts on the right hand side. So using a ratcheting wrench is what I used just to tighten it up while holding the Allen key bolt in place. We do that across all of them, and this rack will be ready for us to put some lumber in. Once we have everything bolted securely in place, it is time to see how much lumber this thing can hold. So again, I told you I have 16-foot white oak pieces. They're all about 8 inches wide and 3/4 of an inch thick. And so we are sliding them up into place right now. There's 4 of them, and then we got another 4 or 5 to go up with those. So we're just loading this sucker up with all of our white oak. And then we're going to follow that up with some other lumber that I also had laying around, because this is now the perfect place to put it. And then our project is done. Well, there you go. We just installed this. It was not too hard. It was something that we could easily get up by ourselves. Just take some time and making sure everything's level and straight. A few bolts, a few screws, and you're pretty much done. With that being said, we now have all of our lumber that we currently have in the shop up here on this. It's up and out of the way, so we can use our miter saw and we can build in these cabinets as we need to build in the cabinets. It will be high enough out of the way that I should be able to have about 20 inches of clearance for a 24-inch cabinet to go above it and below. So that should still give us plenty of room on this wall to do whatever it is that we need to do. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you need some of these lumber racks, you can go to Amazon and you can click on the link that's in the description and it will take you right there. They're not that expensive, totally worth it to do. They seem to be holding up just fine. Obviously I just installed them, but I'm watching and was listening for creaks and cracks, and it seems like everything's holding pretty well. So with all that being said, thank you guys for joining me. Click that subscribe button and we'll see you on the next project.